Hey bro, hope you're doing okay. Um, I'm back and I've just woken up in like the last maybe half an hour. It's about 1 o'clock now, and in the morning, as you can tell, or in the afternoon, seeing as it's the afternoon. Um, and I wanted to be able to show you this because I'm genuinely starting to feel quite excited about my life again. Over the last over the last couple of months, I mean, like you probably find, like from your own experiences, my motivation for things has just slowly decreased over time, and I feel more and more like other things get in the way, and you forget what your purpose is. You kind of lose it. You lose why you're doing things you're doing, and then you don't end up doing the things you're doing because you don't know why you're doing them. There's no point to doing them. But recently I've been able to realize the pain that I have from not following what I want, and I've avoided listening to that pain for like maybe about 3 days or so, like straight, and I was just miserable. But I've been able to confront it now, and I wrote a little bit about how I felt. I think it's just when you're reminded of things that are in front of you. There was a quote from one of the Chris Williamson podcasts, Modern Wisdom ones. I think it was in the one where he was talking to that other guy, I forgot, Alex Hormozy, and he said about how hell was when you meet the person you could have become. And I've been shown in my life some situations where almost projections of the person I could be, and I felt a lot of pain from that, and I've avoided talking about that and thinking about that. But now I've acknowledged it, and I've actually seen it, and now that pain is only further fuel for me being able to do what I want. And so I'm actually getting excited about my life again. Like the things I do in my life, they're actually purposeful. I haven't spent nearly as much, maybe even half the amount of time, maybe even a third of the time, going on YouTube and just like watching pointless stuff. Because when you do have a natural goal and you actually care about it a lot, you don't even have to worry about kind of being as disciplined, because you're just focused on your goal. And I wrote on my in my journal, got my Way of Superior Man, got my journal, got my Lao Tzu, and got my Epictetus. So pretty based at the moment. But yeah, I wrote in my journal that I wanted to become obsessed with my life again. And I suppose I'm using obsessed in an edgy way, in an edgy way, but what I really mean is just that I want to become focused again. I want to be able to just go, right, to put my mission, my purpose in life first. I have the things that have shown me the life that I want and that I'm not living currently in are kind of nebulous. They are kind of a bit, it's not really fully there, but I want to have a life where I'm healthy and I'm active and I have friends around me who I can support, and I have the time to support, and I have the money to be able to do those things, and just being reminded of that, and being able to have a life where I'm just happy, and I'm not like, for instance, I haven't come into work because like really exhausted and tired, and like only got like 2 hours sleep or 4 hours sleep or 5 hours sleep or something, and like I can genuinely like give people time and energy and my focus, and make them feel appreciated and valued, and you know, and through living this kind of life, I just develop the skills that a leader has, and then I become a leader not because I've enforced my control or energy or power over others, but because people have chosen to put their trust and their lives in my hands, in a sense. And so, like, even so, what I've started doing is I've just started going on Obsidian, and if I just like, oh well, you can't really see it now, but like, for instance, this. I started doing like a flow chart of the amount of money I'm getting per month from my job at the moment, and then the amount of money that goes towards my trip to Japan, which is like 800. So I'm left with like £320 for the whole month that I have to spend. Not that I have to spend, but that I can spend on things. And and then I've broken it down into stuff like, for instance, like I'm putting about £48 towards myself, which is about £24. Then there's about £56 that I'm putting towards my health. £56 towards me and my girlfriend. £48 towards charities and savings. £48 towards like costs, just general costs, like getting to work if I do need to get an Uber or something, and sometimes even like meals if I haven't meal prepped for that day, but and then bus travel as well and stuff like that. But the way I've also done it is I put percentages, so it's like because if you use a percentage is more of an abstract way, but it can then be applied, so it makes sense. So, for instance, I've given myself 15% of my income of that 320 will be towards myself, and that will be non-health and non-fitness things, and so that could be stuff like, to be honest, it is more like Jeffrey stuff, so it would be something like, like a new video game or something, but it's only in the sense that like I don't spend my time doing like playing video games or anything. Every now and then I'll play a little bit, but for the most part I personally think it's okay to be able to do things like that, because playing a video, well, perhaps I need to come up with a better justification for it, but I think that, for instance, you can play some games with people, and that can be your more like a social activity that you do with them. If it is a rainy day or something, then, well, if it's a rainy day, you can go out in puddles, really. To be honest, I am seeing less of the reasons why I should have like a self category, but maybe it's even things like, but it's other things like jackets or whatever, like a new jacket or a new piece of clothing or stuff like that, really. So maybe I'm still being a bit of a Jeffrey, perhaps I am, maybe that's fair as well. But then like 17.5% of my income goes towards health and fitness. So, and then for instance here, like I've written, I don't know if you can see that, but like a Brita water filter for my mum's as a temporary measure until I have enough money to get like a a proper like reverse osmosis or whatever they're called machine for both my mum and for my dad's. The nose things that like people wear to expand the nose, because as you can probably hear, I've also been ill, So physically, I've been kind of quite ill, and I've had a blocked nose, and it's been a bit annoying. Socially, I've had a nice time. I had my friends round the other week, like this time last week, plus a day. And it was really nice. I was really proud. I was very happy about having my friends around. Yeah, they all seemed like they had a great time, which is really nice. The fact that I could organise everyone coming together like that. Mentally I feel rejuvenated now. And I have started also reading Essentialism by some dude, but that's a book that is essentially about refocusing your efforts onto just the things that only the things that matter, and like stripping away your life so that it is just like, okay, these are the only things I need to get done, and everything else isn't relevant. It doesn't need to be done. It doesn't matter. And I think in a certain sense, that's kind of that. I mean, that is what you need. Like, at first, you need variation to be able to work out what you want. But then, I think at a certain level of purpose, you then also just need to strip things back down and only focus on the individual things in order to get like something done. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I feel motivated and happy about getting my life back in order again. And at the moment, all I'm doing is just making flowcharts like that. But for instance, I've got another one. You know, like I've done one about like how to organise things with friends, and it's just a way that I can then just get a better understanding, you know, how things do. And also like I think one of the most amazing things is that I have the ability to like actually lay this out, even whether it was digitally or on paper. Like the fact that I can actually, you know, there's so many humans in history, maybe even billions potentially, that have spent their lives without even knowing how to write, or sometimes not even knowing what the concept of writing is. And to be able to reflect your own thoughts into something, and then not only be able to keep them there, but be able to return to them and understand them in the same amount of clarity, or in a relatively same amount of clarity, is incredible. You know, here I'm laying out some of the clearest ways I can possibly think about things, and then I have when I'm not as clear in my thinking, I have the ability to return to it and see how a clear way of me already thinking about that thing was. Obviously, you know, you make modifications over time, and that's probably what's fantastic about the software I'm using is Obsidian, because I can return to notes and I can link notes together, and I can be like, oh, okay, so you know this one connects to this one, and then I can see how the connections are. Or I mean, to be honest, that's at least what people say is great about this software. I haven't really, you know, I've only spent like a week with it really properly, so you know, I don't actually know too much about it, but it feels like progressive. I feel excited and motivated. Here's another one. This was about information, and about, you know, so if it's short term and it's urgent and important, then I put it straight in my reminders. If it's short term and not urgent but still important, I put it in my calendar and then maybe in my notes. If it's short term and it's urgent but not important, then maybe I'm putting in my reminders, and maybe I'm delegating it to someone else. But ultimately, you know, these two are more important. And if it's short term and it's not urgent and it's not important, then there's no need to have it, is there? And then it's just carry out the activity. And yeah, I don't know. In my brain, I'm starting to then think, oh, is this just procrastination? But I don't. Well, it could potentially be, but the way I felt about it is that it's almost like I'm laying out the groundwork for things. And I feel like I can do 4 hours of this today, and then I'll just have an even clearer viewpoint of what I do, and I'll just like move to different things, and just the ability to lay out clearly how I should do my things. Like, so later on I think today what I'll do is I'll make a flowchart diagram illustrating how I should like perform my daily ritual. So I'll have a chart that says, oh, if I'm working on that day, then here's the procedures I go through. And if I'm at home these days, here are the procedures I go through. And then I'll do one for sleep and all these things. And what I feel like is that this is laying the plans for me being able to then carry out these things. And because I actually care about doing these things, like I'll actually stick to it. And even if I don't stick to it, the fact that I'm spending like multiple hours every day dedicated to just focusing on this activity is good for my brain anyway. It isn't something that is like, YouTube, or it isn't something that's like video games where I'm getting that kind of dopamine hits. I'm still getting dopamine hits from this, but like it's because but it's a lot less giving in those hits of dopamine. It's a lot more calm, and it's a lot more motivated from my own progress, and the focus is on my life. It isn't on some kind of video game or anything. So yeah, I mean that's how I'm feeling. Pretty happy, pretty excited. I've just kind of got that small bit of happiness that I'm leading my life the way I want it to. That kind of like, yeah, just that happiness that I can walk around thinking, yeah, like what I'm doing today is only going to improve my life in the future. And that's a lovely thought to have, and it's a lovely feeling to have. But yeah, anyway. Trying to see my bookshelf. That's my bookshelf there. There's Muhammad Ali. There's Guts. Yeah. Anyway, see you guys in a bit. Love you. Bye.